All right, what's going on, everybody? This is episode 11. Yes, I got it right this time. Episode 11 of First and Framerates. I am here, virtual footballer, and this is the Solid Sports Network. And as always, I have my host, Bills. What's going on, man?
Chilling, man. Playing this masterpiece of a game right now, and I'm not even talking about NBA 2K18. We're gonna dive into that later, but NHL 18 ain't too bad this year either. So
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about picking that one up because I want to get into hockey games. I've been playing it on EA Access. I like it so far,
mhm.
but I don't know, man. If it's not an exclusive, I'm really not trying to play any games on Xbox One at this moment. I'm really not. So I'm probably just going to jump over and pick it up on the Pro. Um, for the most part, every single sports title so far on the Pro has been running really well.
Hell yeah.
Even NBA Live, because I did play NBA Live on the three not 360, but on the Xbox One, and it
hmm
has a lot of screen tearing and some frame drops. Not to say those games don't happen on the Pro as well, but they just look better and overall functions better.
Yep.
For me, I've just been rearranging this room. Got a nice little setup over here with my new 4K TV.
hmm
Bought some more games. I actually bought a few titles for my Wii U. That's interesting.
Nice.
I've been playing some games on that, and despite what people say, that system is highly slept on. Yeah, it has some kiddie games on it, but some of the third party games that actually came out on the system is actually pretty good. So I'm actually
hmm
having a blast with that. But I haven't. I played a little bit of Madden, played a little bit of 2K. Started off my Dynasty and my GM, and I've been having a blast with that. And hopefully, like you said, I'm going to jump into NHL 18, and I want to do the same. I want to start off with running a dynasty on that. But we have a few good bit of topics today. We want to talk about the 2K18 patch. We're going to talk about NBA Live, the giveaway that's been going on this past week.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Kyrie Irving, the comments that he made, and what our thoughts on that. We're going to talk about a little bit of college football and some NFL. Also, we want to talk about a topic that someone on Twitter, one of our followers, came up with an excellent topic. But we're going
Yes,
to get,
sir.
yeah, it was a real good topic and something that we touch on. We tiptoe around a little bit on past episodes, but we're going to really get into it. But first, we're going to talk about this NBA 2K18 patch and the NBA Live giveaway that's been going on. What are your thoughts about the patch? Because we know a lot of people was getting, really freaked out about the NBA 2K18 patch. Um,
hmm
a lot of people who play online has been really screeching to the top of their lungs about the game in general. So I guess
Right.
those two can tie into together, and then we can talk about NBA Live. Um, I haven't touched the game since the patch personally, but from what I hear a lot of good feedback, especially for a lot of offline gamers, which you and I
hmm
we pretty much are. And
Oh
in
yeah.
in general, we feel that offline gaming is the best way to go because there's too many variables when you add an online service to
Yep.
the functionality of a game. You're asking about your uh, internet service provider, your router, your connection, and the vice versa for the person you're playing against. You're
hmm
relying on so much. There, and also you're talking about the servers from the actual game. You're relying on so much, and I think that's uh, a not a fair assessment of the game in general because the developers of the game cannot take into account of our internet service. It's very difficult, but overall, I
Right.
think from what I hear, the patch is very well put together based on gameplay. What about your thoughts on the patch and online gaming in general?
Um, as far as online game is concerned, I don't remember a single sports game that was meant to be played online.
I agree.
So
It's
for
just
all the
at the end of the day, it's just an option.
yeah,
It's just an option.
right. So I mean, for all these people that are you know talking about that, I'm just like, I mean, I understand that you're an online gamer, but at the same time, it's like the game is meant to be played offline against the computer. That's why they work so hard on AI every year.
Exactly.
Like,
You got to take an account for the bullshit if you're going to play online. I mean, it is what it
right,
is, and you can't. And to be quite honest, it's very hard to blame a developer for online, production or online performance because of the factors that I just stated.
Yeah, I never like. How can you go to an online gamer for an accurate assessment of the game? The game isn't playing at its full potential online. There are so many factors, like you said, as far as frame rate drops and input lag, which is on a lot of these sports games these days online. You also have the fact that you can't make the other player play sim.
Well, I
That's
mean, and what I mean, the competition is a totally different aspect of online gaming in general. I mean, that can be damn near another topic, but also added into what we're saying. Like I
right.
said, your internet service provider and the servers of the game that you're like let's just say for instance 2K servers. We already know how 2K servers are. They've been up and down. I think since NBA 2K16 they've been pretty okay. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you haven't had the issue of something crazy. Yeah, you're going to have a drop. I mean, but you have people saying that there's a problem, but you have millions of people trying to jump on the game at the same time once it's
Right.
released. What do you expect? But that,
Exactly.
but that's a different issue. But you're at the mercy of the servers of the game, your internet service provider, combined with the service of the person that you're playing against. And sometimes, and even in the case when you're not playing against somebody, you're playing against a situation where there's a lot of people, let's say in the neighborhood or in the park. You're playing against so many other people who have internet service that's going into the system as well, and everybody's pulling bandwidth out of that service to play on the same playing field that you're playing. So
Yep.
it's very difficult to judge a game that you bought from the store that's basically uh, on the disc, and
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens on the disc is basically what the devs put out there.
Yeah.
Whatever happens outside of that, if you add online to it, to get mad at 2K, yeah, I get it if the servers are always down and that's on their end. I get it because but if the servers are working fine and you have all these issues with input lag, the game's not running properly, that is the added bonus. Well, the added things to that gameplay. It's
Well,
not.
and things we're hearing about also, I've been hearing people complaining about missing layups. What world are we in?
I don't think that has anything to do with online gameplay. That's a stick skills, in my opinion.
Exactly.
That's
If you're
just the stick
playing,
skills.
if you're playing online and you can't adjust the sliders and you're missing layups, like I'm sorry, but
I mean,
it's
I don't know how it, I can't tell you how it works if you are missing layups online because I don't play online. But this
it's
go
it's
th- it, it
it's the
just
same
goes.
as offline.
Yeah, but it goes back to what I'm saying. You're adding an extra layer to the situation when you're asking. And when you're asking a game to function online, you're at the mercy of the lag or the lack of lag of your internet
Hmm.
service provider. So when your
Exactly.
internet service provider is trying to give you an experience online, you're not going to have those results when you miss a layup, when you miss a shot. Hell, there are times when the game just straight lags because of your internet service. Somebody else in the room could be using that internet. Somebody outside of your house could be still streaming that use Comcast. I mean, people don't realize that when you use like Comcast or Verizon or Time Warner or whatever your service provider, other people who have that same service are pulling from that bandwidth as well. Therefore, you can experience that type of situation. Case in point, when I go on YouTube and I look at a video and my video will be stuttering and I'll be trying to figure out why, they will have a little prompt at the bottom. You can click that tab, and it tells you that the internet in general is throttling because you have so many people at a certain time of the day using the
Hmm.
internet at the same time. So there's so many factors that go into the online gaming that I just can't deal with. I just refuse not to. I'd rather just play against nobody and and play against the CPU and have a blast.
Right.
I mean, that's just me. But as far as the sliders, I mean not the slider, but the patch go, I've heard nothing but good things about the patch, and that's a good thing. I haven't heard anybody complain about the patch in general.
Yeah, it's the
For
first patch 2K's put out in a long time that hasn't broken their game, so
exactly,
kudos. I'm
exactly.
not even being sarcastic. I'm being dead ass. Like,
And
It's
it,
been a
and
while.
yeah, you haven't called the pause because we still have yet to have any patch notes. We don't know what the hell this patch did.
Right.
But the fact that it's gotten to the point where the game does play better overall, I mean,
And it
well,
was already playing well, which is the crazy part.
right. So I mean, is there anything to really, harp on? I mean, personally,
I mean, I think they minimized clipping just a little bit. I can't confirm that, but it seems like just a little bit they minimized it.
well, that's good. That's
Uh,
good. That's good.
as far as everything else, I mean, like I said, I made a slider set right out of the gate, so I have a different perception of the game than a lot of others because a lot of people play on default. So I can't really say what the patch did. I was already having fun with the game.
Okay, okay,
But,
that's good.
overall, I mean, I'm enjoying the game a lot. Like that game is that game is really good.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
I agree.
it's
I
a
mean,
classic. I think we're gonna look back at that game and say that that's easily the turning point of sports gaming as far as that flow tech mechanic and the movement, you know, the movement system that they implemented this year. Those are two things that can't be understated
I don't
at
know.
all.
I don't know what the hell they did, but they did a fantastic job of getting animations or reducing animations in that game. I mean,
Yep.
I know some people are still saying that oh, it's still an issue, or some people saying, "Oh, there's no defense." The thing is, that's something you have to get used to. You have to use your stick skills, which I'm not really a big fan of stick skills in general, but you have to
Hmm.
move the analog stick to stay in front of your man. I have no problem with that. And same thing with the CPU. If they're out of position, they're not sliding in the way. You're getting around them. That's just the way.
Right.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because I mean, I had an issue. I had an issue as far as getting around the computer a little bit too much. Like I appreciate the
Now I
freedom,
agree with that. I agree with that.
but I all I did was I tinkered with the sliders and it pretty much resolved it. They have a lot of movement sliders this year that people need to dig into. It basically separates the really fast players from the really slow players, and that's with and without the ball. So if you dig into those, you should be fine.
I'm with it.
Uh,
I don't have a problem with any of that.
right.
Um, I don't have anything else to say about the NBA 2K situation. The patch is fine. Personally, if anybody wants to enjoy gaming honestly and don't want to deal with the bullshit, stay the hell offline. I mean, stay the hell
Amen.
yeah, to stay the hell offline. Yeah, stay offline. Yeah, don't go online. That's what I meant to say.
Right.
I mean, that's me
I mean,
personally.
with sports games at least, like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I
obviously,
think with shooters they've done a fantastic job, and in some cases they may want to take a page out of some of these shooters on how they
hmm
do it.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely,
because I mean, to this day, I mean, Battlefield 4 is still a masterpiece. I
yep,
mean, Battlefield 4 is just a fucking amazing game. I
hell
mean,
yeah.
I try to go and play Battlefield 1, and it's nothing to me. People basically play the game because it's the new thing.
And
Quad.
because I mean, now graphically, the game is
Oh
amazing,
yes, yes, I
and
agree.
sometimes I put it on just to be in the environment of warfare because that's just how great the environment of warfare is on basically every Battlefield game. Then you take into account that you're playing it on the PS4 Pro, but once you get down to it, I mean, it's not better than Battlefield 4.
No, 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 absolutely not.
So,
Absolutely not. I'm a big fan of Battlefield 4. I'm with it. So
oh yeah,
I don't have anything to say about that. I just think that at the end of the day, they need to basically take a page out of that if they want to get that done. NBA 2K18, the giveaway. They've been giving away that game a lot this past week or so. What are your thoughts about that?
you mean NBA Live?
Yeah, I'm sorry. NBA Live. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't have an issue. I mean, it's a way to get more people's hands on the game. I have no issue with that at all. It's a really good game. Everybody that's played it pretty much has said that. The only people who haven't are either basketball illiterate or crazy 2K fanboys, EA haters. It's one of those three. So I mean, any way for people to get their hands on that game is good. It's positive to me.
I think with the situation that they're in, I think it's viable for them to do that because they need people to play their game. I think the writing also it also tells you I think the writing's on the wall. I don't think they really think that they were going to sell a lot of copies of that game for once. That's why they
Hmm.
put the game down to $40.
Right.
Secondly, they did a hellified giveaway this past week and a half. Um, I don't think necessarily it's a bad thing. I'm just worried about down the road. Will people decide to buy it the next time?
Hmm.
2K night. I'm not 2K, but NBA Live 19.
Right.
Because I mean, you can't really expect people to throw money at something where people are just getting the game. They're just looking at it like, okay, I'm just got the game. They may play it, they may enjoy it, but then again, they're going to look at it to the situation where I'm not really sure if I'm going to jump onto this bandwagon. That's the way I look at it because to me, I think if you really want people to buy a product, I think I think they could have went more in depth with the demo, like seriously, or probably give a free trial a little bit longer
Hmm.
because just giving the game away, people don't tend to throw money at free stuff. I just put it like that.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm getting a free album or like say for instance just for instance in the world of mixtapes because I watch I mean I listen to a lot of music. You have artists out here who give out free mixtapes all the time. Like it's not like how it was 10, 15 years ago where you have an artist give out one mixtape and then they put out an album every year.
Hmm.
Now you have artists that put out mixtapes every 3 months and then now all of a sudden they have to put out a real album to make some money and people are like, well, you gave us all this free shit all the time. Why am I paying now?
Right.
You know,
There has to be a limit.
yeah, you have to give people enough to say I'm gonna come out of pocket. If you give somebody free stuff, they're to me, I feel like they're more reluctant to buy a product. But
Yeah.
I think for the sake of how good the game is, I think there's a situation where this is warranted. Like people need to know how good this game is. It shouldn't just
Right.
sit on the shelves. That's just on the strength of playing a good game. Because Live 18 is not a bad game at all.
No.
Not at all. And I think that what would have got me to really playing it if you could customize rosters. Um,
I think
and
once they patch that in, I'll probably buy it.
yeah, because I really want to play a dynasty mode. And if I make a few trades or if I drop a few players, I don't want a player on the team with the same number
Yep.
or I can't give them their own identity once they're on the team.
They also don't have a couple of notable players scanned into that WNBA mode, so that's another thing that kind of turned me away from buying it.
Well,
Um,
I'm really not. Whatever.
they look well. I mean, because those players look nothing like their real life counterparts. I can understand if
Well,
they were good,
I can agree.
but they look nothing like them. A couple of these players I'm talking about. So, um, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I can agree with that. But as cool as I think WNBA is, I don't have any interest in it as of right now. It would be cool. Now, I will be honest with you. I'll put it like this. I would think it's interesting if they would put in a dynasty mode for the WNBA.
I was hoping they did.
But see, I'm a dynasty mode guy. I like playing Frank. I don't like the my player bullshit. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I got into it with somebody on the last podcast about people saying you gotta play online, you gotta do this. No, I'm playing offline. My GM, and that's where I roll at. That's my lane. That's where I go
Right,
to. I like to play a real NBA season, and I played it on NBA Live 15, even though you couldn't change any rosters, but I just wanted to try it out. Second go round, I'm not dealing with that. My tolerance level at this point is like, look, this game has been worked on since NBA Elite 11 or
right,
2013, whatever the case may be. We need to have, you know, the rosters to be edited. I don't see why that's still not in the game.
right. I don't know. It's inexcusable to me.
Now, I mean, just to play the game, I mean, they got manual bounce passing in the game. I mean, I could play it all day.
Right.
I mean, because the fundamentals are there, but if I want to play like, down the road, if I want to play an 82, 29, 58 game season, and transactions do happen.
Hmm.
Then now I'm like, okay, I need to, I want to pick up a big man, or I want to pick up another point guard, and both of them have the same name or number, and I can't edit, or I can't put a headband on somebody because I think it look cool in his uniform.
Right.
Yeah, I can't do that. That's just something I can't deal with. Um, Next, let's see where we at. Um, we can jump into the topic that you brought up from one of our Twitter followers. I think that is really a topic we need to get into. I want you to lead off into that one, and I'll just follow behind you.
Cool. So at Spac Jones, shout out to at Spac Jones, came up with this topic. He said that would be a good topic for you and VF to get into the podcast. YouTube influence and how it affects sports gaming communities. Now, this is a hot button topic consistently, just because we've seen a bunch of times where games come out and big time YouTubers, whether it's positively or negatively affecting the game, get things changed because their followers end up agreeing with them naturally about flaws that are in the game. So, I mean, I definitely agree that, they have a big impact in how these games turn out. I mean, they have such a following. You have some of these dudes that have, six-digit figures as far as how many subs they have and all, and a couple have more than that. So when you consider that, there's always going to be an impact from them as far as what we see patched, what we see getting the game each year, um, and things of that nature. Also, the effect of the perception that people have of each game that comes out. A lot of that is affected by these big time YouTubers. They have a huge following and a lot of devout listeners and loyal listeners that pretty much take the side of you know that YouTuber. So what do you think about that?
I'll put it like this: it makes no sense to why you have people in the industry just
Mm,
basically, it makes no sense to me why how they can just dictate on how certain things happen
I
with
agree.
certain games. Because for me, it's like this is the way the game is, and if some person or a few people don't like the way it is,
Yep.
even though it could be for the better of the game, they have so many followers to twist the game around for their benefit.
Right.
Now,
It's like if you had 1 million subs and I liked the movement in 2K prior to watching a video. Then I watch a video and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, the 2K movement does suck. It's like, come on.
it's not even that. Let's just talk about in general. Look at all these patches that have been going on in 2K for the past few years. Look
Yeah,
how look at some of the patches that have been happening in Madden for the past few years to cater to
but that's the
competition
reason
gameplay.
why. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just look at them. It's like the game could be sim. We can look at like, Madden 25. I remember when that first came out, and you had some YouTubers saying that the running game was too real.
Yep. So I had somebody on IGN say it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden, Madden 15 comes out, and the running game was fucking terrible.
Yep.
And I mean, you have these situations like with Madden, 17 or Madden 16, where you have these games come out and they're playing to the best of their potential. And if you have a group of people or you have a few YouTubers that don't like it the way it is, they have too many, and I'm gonna say too many because I'm not saying it's too many to the point where they have too many subs. They just have too many people following them to say that, oh yeah, since he said it, that's right, we
Yeah.
need this
Too many
patch.
too many people that don't think for themselves, and
Right,
that's
and then they say it needs to be patched, then all of a sudden simulation is thrown out of the game.
yep.
It just happens too many times. That's why we were really wary about this patch that was 2K18. It's like, okay, here we go again with the dumb shit.
Well,
Here
and
we
then you also have these dudes who are out here making these exploit videos, and they don't help either.
why? That's
Because
why.
the people who do want to play online simulation have the game ruined, and then people who play offline end up having the game ruined because you got motherfuckers who want to make videos about, oh, if you do this dribble every time and hop 3 times on your foot, it's stupid shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look, case in point, look at us at NBA 2K16. The game was great when we started playing online, and we're offline gamers. But the game played great on online, and then all of a sudden, you had these people come in claiming that it was a problem that they couldn't do this anymore, they couldn't do that anymore, and at that point, we just left. We didn't want nothing to do with online anymore because we knew
Yeah.
what happened. And ever since then, 2K16 patch messed everything up, and I didn't even want to touch 2K17 online, but that's the issues. Like, you got too many of these YouTubers, and I don't know much of them by name because I don't watch their stuff, because most of the stuff is basically my team of my career for the most part. Not yeah, my team of my career for the most part, but I noticed that the stuff that they put out nerfs a lot of simulation stuff, and then we're left holding the bag trying to figure out why we can't continue our dynasties, or why we can't continue our play nows when we just want to play
Yep.
when we can't play straight up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really big problem that, sadly, I'm not sure if it'll get fixed because of the fact that these people, they're out for views, they're out
Yep.
for money, and these
Mm-hmm.
games are out for free advertisement for the most part. And
Yep.
that's where it comes into where it we need to find a place where it can stop. Now, I noticed now 2K always had a simulation, casual, and arcade mode in their games, which, quite frankly, really didn't work online, or to be honest with you, it didn't work after a patch in general. And Madden is finally trying to get to that point where they have a simulation, compilation, arcade mode. The only thing that I can hope for is that, all these updates and patches or tunes can actually be separate from each mode.
Right.
That's the only thing that we can hope for. Because other than that, we're gonna have the same situation to where, somebody's gonna claim that the post game is too strong and
Yep.
everybody should dunk on somebody, and why my
Mm-hmm.
defensive player can't stand in front of nobody.
And why
Well,
can't I make layups? And why can't I steal the ball? And why can't I hit green releases? And why can't I do this? And why is the sky blue? And why it's just like people, if like these so-called sim heads are anything but, because as soon as they get simulation, they start complaining.
no joke about that.
Oh, well, I hope next year that ratings matter. And then all of a sudden you see somebody with a low rating for layups miss a layup, and all of a sudden it's
Yes,
Armageddon.
but Bills, it's not even that. Somebody with a high layup rating could miss layups. It just shit happens all the
Exactly.
time.
It does.
It happens all the time. So
I
it's
mean,
like,
it's
what you're
it's
supposed to make. You're
crazy to
supposed to
me.
make. Just imagine if every damn player in the NBA made every fucking layup.
Yeah, I've seen people complain about dropping passes. Their players are dropping passes. I'm like, like you gotta be
Hold on.
kidding me right now.
First of all, they're playing basketball. Let's be real here. A basketball player is supposed to catch the ball. But that's not their specialty.
Right.
If they were good at catching a basketball, 9 times out of 10 they'll be playing football somewhere. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying?
I mean, passes, depending on how fast they are coming and what angle you're running at, etc., are hard to catch in basketball. Not everybody catches a pass cleanly in basketball. It's just not how it goes.
I mean,
I mean,
and people are saying that this not supposed to happen, that's not supposed to happen, but it happens all the time. How many times the basketball slipped through their hands and it goes out of bounds?
right.
I mean, how many times that somebody loses their dribble with no defense present?
I mean, I've
It,
seen dudes complaining about the loose ball animations they have now, where if they pick the ball up, somebody can knock it away and cause, another loose ball. I'm like, these things happen in real life. If you watch a game of basketball, 2K has captured the essence of basketball with NBA 2K18.
I can
And
agree.
it's gonna and the thing is, people don't want to accept that. Like it's crazy to me, man. Like it really is. I hope
I,
this game doesn't get nerfed. I hope all these crybabies just have to suffer through this. And if next year the game comes out and they took all this shit out that they put in and all the work that they put in, then I'll just play NBA 2K18.
right, I mean, it's just the thing. People just need to learn how to play a video game.
Right.
I mean, whatever happened to learning how to play a video game? I mean, I've been playing video games since 1988.
Hmm.
I've been playing games since 87, 88. I've been playing games for almost 30 years. And not one time I have sat here and say, this game is frustrating. I can't learn how to play it. Now there's games that I've learned how to play and the game just kicked my ass. It just happens.
Exactly.
I can't beat every game. I mean I'm not good at every game.
I deal with that at Battlefield every time. I mean, not Battlefield, Backbreaker every time I play it.
Right, but I know how to play a game. I know what I'm doing. And for the most part, I'm okay with that. But I just can't get with people just saying certain mechanics like, oh, I can't make a layup. Well, what are you doing wrong with that layup? Are you pressing the ball? I mean, are you pressing the button too long? Are you moving the analog stick, holding it too long? Sometimes you got to release it a little bit earlier. I mean,
Well, I
this is
mean,
just this is just
if you let them tell it, they'll say you shouldn't have to time layups.
exactly like when you're on the basketball court playing in real life. Tell me how you do a layup because you have to time a layup every single time when you do it in real life. I don't see what the problem is in on the video game. Just like in
I
Madden,
mean,
just like in Madden, if you want to time a throw, you have to use the analog stick to throw it a certain way. Which matter
that's how this is how shit like shot meters come up. Soon they're gonna want a tip to pop up to tell you which guy to pass to, who's open. It's like, man, get out of here with that foolishness, yo. Watch a real game of basketball, turn 2K on, and try to replicate that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they should have never gave gamers the shot meter.
Never. I mean, we said that last week. Never.
Right.
Watch
Just
a real game of
your
basketball. You're telling me
your shot should be based on the motion of your player shooting the basketball. They get rid of the basket. They shoot the ball at the highest point of their release of their jump. They release the ball at the highest point of their jump. That's what you're taught in basketball.
right?
Unless
If you're telling me that you have a favorite team in basketball, you watch them religiously, and you can't replicate the best player on your team's jump shot in a video game, you don't need to be playing video games.
man, it's not even that. It's just damn the bet your favorite player. It's just knowing the players that you're playing with in general. You know, Sean Marion has a different type of jump shot. You know, Levar. You know, Lonzo Ball has a different type of jump shot.
Yep.
But for the majority, people bend their knees, go up, and at the highest point of their jump, they shoot the ball. If you
Yep.
can't watch that animation and just know when to time it with the analog stick or the button you press, that's your problem.
Yeah, these games should be like Crash Bandicoot, man.
And not only that,
They should just come out and there should be a manual like they have on there, but not these training wheels, bro.
but not
Not
only
these training wheels while you're playing the game, just popping up and shit.
right, and not only that, if your player missing layups and if your player is missing jump shots, put his ass on the bench. What
Yep.
is wrong with that?
This is the thing though. Like I told Smitty before, I made a slider set and I put it up and I said, make sure you put it on real shooters percentage. They don't want that shit either.
But it's real player shooter percent.
If Shaq hits a 3 pointer because they're timing it right, they'll be satisfied. They'll be like, it's cool. I timed it right. I'm supposed to make it. That's
It's
how they want. That's how they want it, bro.
it's real player shooter percentage. It doesn't matter if Shaq can time his 3 point, no matter how he wants to time it. His
Yep.
real player shooter percentage is he going to
His
miss it maybe
ass.
90% of the time.
Yep.
90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time he's going to miss it. But just because they say that they got the green on the damn on the shot meter, Shaq should
Right.
make that three. Get the
Like I'm.
fuck out of here with that. That makes
Like I'm
no
sorry
sense.
going for starting this rant, people, but it's just like it's just funny to me how so much of this community calls itself, sim heads, and then we get a sim game and they don't know what to do.
Man, that's crazy. What was it again? Spatial Jones?
Yep, Spac Jones. So shout
Spike
out to Spac
Jones.
Jones for that question.
Excellent topic because I mean people need to know it's not about your stick skills when you're playing the simulation. You need to get the right personnel out there to play the game. I mean, yeah, your stick skills will play a part with the success if it's up or down, but just because you do it right every time, that doesn't mean that they make the shot every time. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, you got players in the NBA, you got quarterbacks in the NFL, got a perfect release on their throw, but
Yep.
it's missed.
I
It just
mean,
happens.
putting the game on real shooting percentage for me has made me take or try to take higher quality shots. It trains you to take higher quality shots, and if you can't get those higher quality shots, you're gonna lose. I had a
Real,
situation like that when I played with the Lakers before, and I played against the Pelicans, and I wasn't getting high quality shots. And when I would get shots at the rim, I got blocked.
real
You're
play,
gonna lose, right?
real player shooter percentage.
You're gonna lose. It's
That
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 simple.
that that right there. If somebody don't like, somebody got a problem with real player shooter percentage. If they got a problem with that, that just tells you everything you need to know about them being sim
Right,
because it's real player. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's just right. Oh, it's too realistic. Yeah, what the go play NBA Street.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Go
Just
play NBA Street. Go play NBA 2K9,
go play NBA Jam.
NBA Jam.
Go play any of that stuff. NBA Street Hoops.
Right.
They got all that stuff for you out there. So I mean, excellent topic, Spag Jones. I mean, and that's another thing. If anybody got any topics that they want to talk about, just shoot us on Twitter. We always open to ideas or whatever
Hmm.
you want to bring to the table. I mean, that's what we're here for. Um,
Absolutely.
uh, Next, we're going to jump on to Kyrie Irving, and I know you made a comment under my Twitter about
Oh
his
man.
comments on First Take.
Uh,
Um, I'm gonna let you go first with that because we may more likely we may differ from this, but I'm gonna give you the reasons why we differ after you go.
so okay, my issue wasn't with the comments that Kyrie Irving made because I agree with the comments that he made. I agree 100%. He didn't have to tell LeBron nothing. I wouldn't have told LeBron either. Here's the issue that I have. Okay? So, LeBron James did not tell his teammates when he was a free agent and they knew there was a possibility of him leaving.
Right?
He didn't tell them, look, I'm going to Miami. Deuces. KD did not tell Westbrook. They were both called bitches, traitors, all that shit. Ray Allen went to the Miami Heat after being in trade rumors, trade talks for 3 straight years. People said he was disloyal. Dumb shit. Okay? Kyrie Irving does the same thing, requests a trade right after losing the NBA Finals, doesn't tell LeBron, and he's a savage. Oh my God, he's such a grown man. Oh my God, grown man moves. Oh my God, I want to be like him when I grow up. Where's the disconnect here?
I can.
Is there no consistency in this community?
I thought me and you was going to disagree, but I'm totally with you on that.
No, I didn't. I never disagree with what you were saying because I completely agree. If LeBron is mad about him not telling him or people are mad about Kyrie not telling him, they need to get over it. But I just need consistency from people who are rashing LeBron and KD for doing the same thing when you're hopping on the Kyrie bandwagon when he did it. I just completely disagree with that.
I think you're right about that because of the fact that you said like the other one saying that he was a snake and
Yeah.
KD was this and that and
LeBron's a traitor. He has no loyalty.
yeah,
He couldn't win, and
I
he
mean, let's
left.
not.
And
I mean, we can go on a lower level. We can talk about Dwight Howard. He did the same thing on three different teams.
yep,
So, I mean, he did it with Orlando. He did it with the Lakers. He did it with well, he was about to do it in Houston, but Houston wasn't having it. But
right.
so it was like for them to do it, everybody want to jump down their throats for doing it. But when Kyrie does it, oh, he's all brave and he's a man. See, my thing is, I feel the same way about all those other players who
Yep,
did it. I think that I give them the same leeway that Kyrie did. I think Kyrie is, I think all three of them is just doing what a man's supposed to do when they want to get where they want to go.
yep,
It's not about being a snake or whatever. Like everybody saying, "Oh, KD should have told Westbrook." Last time I remember Westbrook don't work in the front office.
yep.
Why should he have
Exactly.
the time? Same thing with LeBron. He's a free agent. The only thing I have a problem with LeBron, and
Hmm.
I don't. I think I think I don't know if me and you agree on this. The
Hmm.
fact that he did it on television without Dan Gilbert knowing,
I agree with
I
that.
can agree with that. If
I
anything,
agree
you
with that.
you should tell your boss, if
Yeah,
anybody, what you're trying to do. But
yeah.
LeBron didn't have to tell Mo Williams. LeBron didn't have to tell Jaja Pachulia. He didn't have to tell anybody. And
No,
honestly, and at the end of the day, we can have a problem with him not telling Dan Gilbert. But at the end of the day, he really didn't have to tell Dan Gilbert. To
no,
be,
it
I
really
mean,
isn't.
to be really honest, he doesn't have to tell him. So
No.
it's like the
It's
play.
like who did KG and Paul Pierce tell when they were like, "Hey, we're gonna waive our no trade clause and try to put together a super team to beat LeBron the next year"? They didn't tell us so. You think they told Rondo, "Hey, we're about to waive our no trade clause and get sent to Brooklyn"? Fuck out of here with that. Like,
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
think about on a daily basis when you see people quit their job. Do they come in and shake everybody's hand after they quit over the
Well,
phone?
let me
Oh,
tell
it
you
was a
something.
pleasure working with you. It was a pleasure. Like, man,
And let me tell you something. If it's a job I'm about to quit, I honestly don't want to tell anybody. And to be honest
no,
with you, the 2 week notice bullshit is bullshit in my
it
opinion.
is.
Because I'm like, look, if I'm quitting this job, I really have no intentions of coming back. So
You
fuck
don't
it.
get no notice when you're fired. Why should you have to give notice when you're leaving? On your
Exactly.
own power.
Exactly. So like I said, it's like with the Kyrie thing. I'm like, yo, I'm cool with this. He shouldn't have to tell nobody. But well, wait a minute. 3, 4 months ago, or a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, y'all were saying the same thing about these other two guys. About
Mm-hmm.
how disrespectful they was for doing.
Yep.
Left Westbrook holding the bag, and you left the
Mm-hmm.
city of Cleveland holding their hand, and
Right.
you left Pat Riley to go back to the Cleveland. These dudes are free agents for the most part. And to be honest with you, I don't mind. I didn't have a problem with Kyrie doing it because you know what? At the end of the season, LeBron gonna probably be doing the same thing and leaving again. And guess
Yep.
who? And what teammate you think he gonna tell when it's ready for him to go?
Not a
It,
damn soul.
exactly. It just got out there that the fact that he's maybe leaving after the fact. Paul George, same thing. He didn't tell none of his teammates when he wanted out of Indiana. It just got out like, look, we want to go to the Lakers.
Right.
And if you're going to trade us, this is where we want to go.
Yep.
And that's the only reason why he told somebody, because if he wanted to be a free agent, his ass would have been gone.
I mean, I can think of another example. LaMarcus Aldridge. He's probably the
Exactly.
worst. He's probably the worst example of this. Okay,
And you know what?
you
They had a damn good team up there in Portland, too.
Nah, see, this is the thing. This is the thing. People want to call KD and LeBron a bitch. No, I'm gonna show y'all a bitch. This is a bitch. LaMarcus Aldridge is a bitch. LaMarcus Aldridge is the definition of a bitch. Okay, so first off, he said he was gonna sign with the Suns in the offseason. This is after he said he was gonna resign. He didn't resign. He opted out. He didn't even opt out. He was an unrestricted free agent. Okay, so then he got in talks with the Suns. They were gonna pay him a whole bunch of money. All right, but he said no. I don't want to lead a team. I don't want to be a man. I want to go to a team where I'm the third best player. And what happened? He went to a team where he was the third best player, and they ain't won shit with him. LaMarcus Aldridge, you want to call somebody a bitch, a cupcake, a snake? Call that dude a snake. So, because everybody that makes up the false narrative that those players were leaving that team anyway when LaMarcus Aldridge left, and that's why the Portland Trailblazers got broken down, that's false. He left. He said he wasn't signing back. He signed with the Spurs, and then everybody else started either getting traded away or signing elsewhere. LaMarcus Aldridge is 10 times worse than Kyrie Irving, LeBron, and Kevin Durant put together.
I can agree with that.
There's no way you can tell me you go from a franchise player who can't hold his own weight, let alone the weight of his team. He's going to go to a team and know he's going to take a back seat? Come on, dude.
And then
That's a chump move.
they're talking about reports that he's unhappy in San Antonio.
Right.
What do you expect? You
Man,
put
he's a chump, yo. LaMarcus Aldridge is a chump. He always has been a chump, and he always will be a chump. Brandon Roy was the heart and soul of that team before he got injured. Everybody talks about LaMarcus Aldridge carrying him. Where did he carry him to?
hey, last time I checked, I thought Brandon. I thought Damian Lillard was that guy.
Exactly. And for the people who also want to talk about Kevin Durant going to the team they just lost to, he went to the Spurs the very next season after getting swept by them. So don't tell me that bullshit either. And I don't want to hear, oh, Kevin Durant's a top 5 player in the league. Because people were calling LaMarcus Aldridge top 10 player in the league. And he went to the Spurs the very next season after they got swept off the face of the earth.
Yo,
People are inconsistent, bro.
yeah, I totally agree. Cause like we said, it's like, look, this whole situation about who goes where is like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. I like I said, I commend Kyrie because he did it the way he wanted to do it. At least he told the front management he wanted to trade.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? At the minimum, like we said, in his situation, he had to tell because he was still under contract. But in any instance, all these other guys, like you said, like Dwight or you have Durant or you have LeBron, they do
Yep.
what they do, and you want to call them names, and you trying to put him up on a, you trying to put Kyrie up on a pedestal. It's like
Right.
no, all these guys should be empowered to have the destiny to go where they want to go.
Absolutely.
And I mean, there's nowhere about it because these owners have the power to let go of you no matter how good you are.
Exactly.
You
I
know,
mean, it's like I said. I'll continue to use that example. Owners do not give you a warning when they're about to release you.
none.
They don't say, "Hey,
Unless unless you've been with the team for 20, and I will say this only for basketball though, I won't say this for football.
hmm
Unless if you've been in it with the team for 20, 16, 17, 18 years.
right."
Like say for instance, if they want to get rid of Dirk, they would have told
Hmm.
Dirk, hey man, we about to let you go. Tim Duncan, hey, we probably gonna let you go or whatever, you want to retire, whatever the case may be. Kobe Bryant, same way, we're gonna let you go out on your own terms.
Yep.
I will say for the owners of the NBA or the GMs of the NBA, they're more friendly to do that for their players. Unlike the NFL, I mean, you could be a quarterback that did everything for them, and they'd be like, "Look, it's time to let you go,"
Yep.
and that's that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we could talk about this down the road. I wouldn't be surprised if your quarterback goes through that at the end of the season, which I think is highly unfair. But I would not be surprised if they let go of Tom Brady at the end of the year just because.
I
Which
wouldn't either.
I just think is bullshit, but I wouldn't be surprised because the NFL is just that cutthroat when it comes to contracts.
Oh, absolutely.
So um, with that being said, people just lay off the bullshit. People just want drama. Why you didn't
Yeah.
tell LeBron? Why you didn't
Right.
tell this? Why you didn't tell that? It's just look. It is what it is. Do you do that on your job? Are you going to tell your coworker that you're about to leave when I mean you may do it just to be funny and joking, but are you just
Right.
going to tell a coworker that you're about to leave because you're ready to go? 9 times out of 10,
And
you're
on
not.
top of that, tell them, "Hey, I'm gonna end up going to a rival of this company." So
Right,
like that's like me working a Sprint. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go to AT&T, make this money real quick. Like, come on, dude. Like,
right.
people need to be real, yo.
Yeah,
And on
exactly.
and just on another topic, real quick, since we're talking about Cleveland, Isaiah Thomas has been conflicting reports about his health.
Oh
He
God,
says he's gonna be ready for the season. I think that's complete and utter bullshit. Um,
he should have got surgery, man.
he should have. And you know what? I think Danny Ainge, the snake that he is, knew that he was going to trade IT, and the doctors told him he didn't need surgery so that he would be damaged goods for whatever team they traded him
I
to.
I think that's bullshit. Not giving them not going through surgery, and they should have recommended. I don't know if he was denied not to do surgery after they told him he should, but at the end of the day, I think Danny Ainge is. If you want to talk about a snake, I think he is because he knew the situation. He was like, you
Oh,
know
yeah.
what, I'm just gonna let this happen, and I'm just gonna trade him anyway. So that was some low key bullshit. And at the end of the day, I think Cleveland probably got sold a bag of goods. And I'm gonna tell you, if that's really prevalent this year, I can up the ante on LeBron leaving, but by probably 5 to 10%.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, like, see, it's going to be interesting because um, if IT doesn't re-sign, which most likely he won't because LeBron's not going to re-sign, it's going to be interesting to see Cleveland and where they're at next year. They ain't going to have a soul on that team.
Yeah, Derrick Rose is 1 year contract. LeBron's in his last year. IT in his last year.
Oh, and the last thing, Amon Shumpert requested a trade. Shut the fuck up. Who are you?
Yeah, 2 years ago would have been nice.
Fam,
Two
who
years,
is Amon
two,
Shumpert to request a trade? Nigga,
two,
you should be happy
2 years ago.
that, man.
Like I said, 2 years,
Oh.
2 years ago, he would have been a commodity. Not a hot commodity, but he would have been a commodity.
Mon Shumpert requested. Come on, dude. Like, oh my
But
god.
but a lot of people kind of knew that this Cleveland situation was a sinking ship after last year. I mean, that's why Jimmy Butler didn't go there. That's why Paul George. I mean, there were reports of people saying to telling those guys, "Do not come to this organization." So I mean,
Yeah,
the writing is on the wall. I mean, they know they're telling these superstars not to come here. LeBron is on the ins and outs of him not staying or going. He's more likely going. Kyrie left. Kyrie knows that the situation is what it is. That's probably why. That's probably the main reason why he left. I don't think it's because he disliked LeBron. I mean, I don't see a reason why.
nah, he knew what it was about. He knew
Yeah,
what it was
that's it.
about.
I don't think there's a reason why anybody honestly could dislike LeBron James. The LeBron James, the
Mm.
person, he seems like a very upstanding dude. He has little quirky ways about doing things, but for overpart, he's not the type of person that actually is hard to get along with.
I think Kyrie, like, I believe what Kyrie's saying when he says, "Look, I mean, part of it was, you don't want to play in somebody's shadow." And the other part of it was that, like you said, he doesn't want to be left holding a bag when LeBron leaves. And
He was
I
he was
can
he was already there 3 years prior to that. He knows what Cleveland's like without LeBron.
exactly. It's dreary.
I mean,
He ain't gonna have nobody there except Tristan Thompson. I guarantee you, Kevin Love probably get traded during the season.
yeah, and then you have people like Anthony Bennett walking through the doors, like, okay,
Right, and they're acting like he's gonna be your wingman. It's like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah,
it was going to be a bad situation. We're looking at a situation here where I can honestly say that there's a couple of dudes that are going to be 1 year rentouts, and the landscape is going to change again. It already changed enough this season. Next season, the NBA is going to look even more different. IT is going to be somewhere else. LeBron's going to be somewhere else.
Paul George.
Westbrook might be somewhere else. Paul George will absolutely be somewhere else. Blake Griffin might be somewhere else.
Did Westbrook sign this contract with OKC? Or he signed on last year as well.
Um,
Let me look that up. I think
he didn't resign because
yeah,
they're
that was
still
saying.
looking
That
for
was
him
it.
going to LA.
Yeah, because it's like that ain't gonna work.
Not
But
Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball nixed a lot of that trade rumor,
yeah, I said
and
that's not, the only way that'll work if the only way that will work if Westbrook decided to be a two. That's the
and,
only
and
way it
that
works.
and that'll never
That's
happen.
not gonna happen. I mean, he is a two by trade,
Right,
but he
but
does not want to be a two.
mm-mm.
And with that being said, that's not going to work. I mean, I think he'll do a very good impression of Dwayne Wade if he was a two.
I could see LeBron going there.
Yeah, the LA, yeah. I can
I
see him
could
go.
see
I can
LeBron
see him
going
going to
there.
LA and see Paul George playing the two easily.
Yo, if LeBron went there, Lonzo Ball played the one, and Paul George played the four, or however they want to set it up.
Now, I think it'd be Ball one, George two, Braun is the three. Who they got there? Not Julian Randle. Who's the other guy that they got there?
They got Brooke Lopez now, which is funny to me.
Not Lopez. Who's the other guy? Ingram the four.
Nance.
No, Ingram's the four. And
They got see, they would have too many people at that position.
well, somebody got to get traded. I can make a case where Julian Randle could kick rocks.
I mean, giving up on Julius Randle.
I
Yeah,
know. It's not that I'm giving up on him, but look who's coming to town.
yeah, but the thing is,
And
if they're not signed,
Ingram over Randle all day.
yeah, but I'm saying if they're not signed, then it would be hard to trade them anyway. Because like, what would you get back in the middle of the season for those dudes just to make space?
You talking about the middle of the season? I thought you were talking about like at the end of
Well,
free
no.
agency
Well, I'm
next year.
saying because if you trade them at the end of the season, the question will be what pieces are you getting back to create space for these dudes to come if you're getting rid of those guys.
Well, if you got Paul George and you got LeBron coming in, they already got a lot of cap space already.
Yeah.
So if they're getting rid of those, if they're getting Randall, giving away Randall, they get rid of Mozgov is gone, so you ain't got to worry about
But
him.
it's going to be a question of who they get back, I'm saying, because it's a situation where this ain't like, a sign and trade. This is going to be free agent pickups.
Yeah, they got two free agent pickups coming in with George and LeBron. Randall's still signed, right? Randall will still be signed at the end of the year. I mean, he's still under contract, and I know Ingram's going to stay because they just got Ingram. So if they get rid of Randall, and you got, let's say, for instance, quote unquote, LeBron and George decide to come to LA, Do they really
I
need
don't think that will work either.
I don't think so either. I think they'll be forced to make it work, but I'm not sure if it'll be ideal.
I mean, see, this is the thing. I could easily see a reunion in Miami with LeBron and Wade, because I still don't buy that Wade's going to be with the Bulls for the long haul,
No,
and I
they're
don't
gonna let
think
him go.
he's and I don't think he's anywhere near retiring either. We could be looking at a LeBron and Miami reunion, and hell, I would be really happy about that.
That's possible. That's possible. That's I can see that.
Because I just at this point, it just doesn't seem like LA is going to be the destination now. Paul George might go to the other LA team.
No, I think he wants to be a Laker more than anything, though.
He probably does, but I'm saying it's worst
I
case
mean,
scenario.
the situation with him going to the Lakers is like a perfect puzzle piece.
Yeah,
So I don't see him going to the Clippers. Personally, I don't see the Clippers being good anytime soon. But I don't think he's going to settle going to the Clippers. You got to think about it, he's a free agent this year at the
yeah.
end of the year, so it's not like
But I mean, if LeBron ends up going there, it seems to me whoever doesn't go there, the other will. Between him and LeBron.
yeah, I can see that.
But both, I don't see it happening.
That
And
is
I
true.
still and I still feel like Melo, LeBron, and Wade are gonna somehow team up together
Oh, Mello.
because they've been planning that for years.
Oh, Mello. I don't even know what to say about him. To me, it's just
I want to see how he plays this year. I
it's
really.
just to me it's just when I think about Carmelo, it's like blah. You know what I'm saying? It's just I there's nothing there to tell me that something's going to happen. I think he's going. To me, it's just got status quo written all around him. See, with LeBron, he's the type of guy that okay, he's willing to do something. He may do something that's going to amaze you this year. He
Hmm.
still has the talent. Now I ain't gonna say the potential. He has the talent to continue to take his game to the next level. Paul
Hmm.
George the same way. He has something that when you look at him, you're like, oh, he might do something this
But
year.
Carmelo just is what he is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like Carmelo's like, I'm
I
gonna,
could see.
yeah, you know
I
what
could
I'm saying.
agree with that.
I'm gonna get another 25, a basic 25 out of him. I'm gonna get a basic 27 a night from him. Even
Like
when
I just think he is the perfect example of a guy. It's like you add him to a championship team, and he can make or break that team. It could either be really good or it could
absolutely,
be really bad. But
I
he's not
think
going to be the star of that team. It's not
Carmelo,
happening.
and I know people may disagree with this. Carmelo seems like he will be the perfect second or third guy on a team.
I agree,
He'll be the perfect
especially at
second or
this
third
point
guy.
in his career.
Yeah, he'll be the perfect second or third guy. He goes into a team, takes about 12 million a year, and you got a couple other superstars around him, and he'll play, and everybody be focused on the superstars, and every other night or every 4 or 5 nights, he'll drop 40 on you.
People might hate this comparison, but that's how Mark Aguirre was.
Yeah, yeah,
And Carmelo's better than Mark Aguirre, obviously. But the comparison is it's like imagine if George Gervin got to play on a team in the '80s that was okay. I can give you an example. Bob McAdoo.
yeah. There you go.
Bob McAdoo joined the Lakers. He won a ring. He wasn't the best player on the team. He couldn't win when he was the best player on the team, but it worked because he knew his role. You scored.
Right.
But
Exactly.
Carmelo, I don't think wants to take that back seat, so it might be an issue for him
Yeah.
because if he tries to stick it out in New York, it's going to be another waste of year.
Exactly. Exactly. I think with Carmelo, if Carmelo takes the role of saying, you know what, I'm going to be the guy, but this person that's on my team is going to facilitate for me to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be a perfect fit for him instead of him like saying, "Oh, I have to do everything." Well, what's
Yep.
going to happen is you're going to end up getting 38 every other night, but you're still going to be losing every other game.
Yeah, Carmelo's going to be the dude that shows up when it's playoff time and has that big game to push your team over the hump so that the superstar doesn't have to do nearly as much as he usually has to do. And Carmelo can perfectly play that role. Come out and score 40 in a given playoff game. He can do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I think that's when the pressure is off him. I think he'll be well equipped to do so. So,
Absolutely.
so I think that was another great topic like I said, Spac Jones, great. It just branched off to so many other things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can talk
Winners
about
and
it.
losers.
No, we can get into winners and losers
Okay.
right after this because I want to talk about a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of college football. Have you been
Oh yeah,
following?
yeah.
Have you been following college football? We haven't touched on it that much last week.
Yeah, I have. I have.
Okay, I've been following a little bit this week, and there's been some great games going on. Clemson, they got them at number two this week, but I think they should be number one after they beat the hell out of Louisville, and they've been playing pretty impressive throughout the year. Alabama's been doing okay as well, but they had two cupcakes after their first win against Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with Alabama being number two, but I clearly think Clemson should be number one. And also, I can possibly make a case where Alabama could be number three because Oklahoma beat Ohio State in Ohio State, and they did a pretty good job of doing that. But
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. One, two, and three right here, interchanging them really doesn't make a difference. It's just that
Nah.
if you want to put one above the other, there are your cases right there. What about your thoughts about anything that's going on in college?
I mean, I think the most interesting thing that I'm watching right now is the fact that Lamar Jackson is probably the first player I've seen in a long time that has so much weight on his shoulders to elevate his team every game and has them in a position where people still see them as a contender, but they just aren't. He makes up for so many of their flaws. Their offensive line isn't very good. He doesn't have many weapons. The defense isn't very good. But because he's so dynamic, they always have a chance. Now they lost the other day, but it's a situation where they're just going to run into better teams.
Yeah, and I think if Lamar Jackson continues to do what he's been doing prior to the Clemson game, he's going to win
Hmm.
another Heisman.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, there's other quarterbacks out there. You got Sam Darnold, and you have Rosen out of UCLA. You got a few guys out here that are actually pushing for the Heisman, but
Hmm.
this guy is actually doing it with his legs and his arms. So, yeah, it's going to be a setback, and people may you hold it against him against the game against Clemson, but it's the number two, number one team in the country. So
Right.
if he continues to elevate his game the way that he's doing, and for instance, if these guys don't lose another game, maybe if they lose another game but he balls out, I don't
Hmm.
see him not losing the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean he's competing with a couple of quarterbacks right now. Hopefully Sam Darnold doesn't falter. We're gonna have to see what happens with that, but I think those two are ahead right now. You also have the running back Penn State. Got to watch out for him, the freshman.
Yeah,
He's a
he
monster.
yeah he is nice. He is nice, and I think he may be the biggest threat because he's a running back playing for a top four, top five team.
Hmm.
USC is number five. Yes, UCLA is not in the top 10, so they're going to have to win big games. But if they're just a prototypical quarterback that just put up numbers with their arm, I think the running back from Penn State and Lamar Jackson is going to run
Hmm.
away with the top two of the Heisman because they're so dynamic outside of just throwing the ball. So
Absolutely.
yeah, those other guys, yeah, they're nice. But like I said, if that running back continues to do what he does and he runs for about, let's say, 1,800 yards, and if you have Lamar Jackson throwing for 300 plus a game and running for another 120 plus a game, those
Hmm.
guys are just throwing the ball. They're just, okay, you guys are just throwing the ball. Here's the Davy
Yep.
O'Brien jersey. I mean, here's the Davy O'Brien trophy. That's
Hmm.
so. But overall, the top 10 doesn't. I mean, the top 25 don't really surprise me as much. I
Right.
like Mississippi State. They beat LSU 37-7,
Hmm.
so they jumped from unranked all the way up to number 17. They have to play the Georgia Bulldogs, which is number 11. They play them this week. That's going to be an interesting game because we don't know what Mississippi State is really about.
Right.
Even though they did put the bricks on LSU, but LSU, they have a new coach. The team is really wasn't as good as people put them out to be. So that's going to be really interesting. Any other game this week ever jumps up to me? I don't see any. Let me look at
Nah,
the.
that's pretty much it. But I mean, I think I can just close out my thoughts on this by saying I think that Oklahoma is the best team in football right now, and I think that they have the best player as far as getting W's. in football right now in
No
college football,
question. That quarterback, I think I think Lamar Jackson is the most talented athlete.
without question.
Let's get this clear. I think he's the most talented athlete in college football.
Hmm.
I think Rosen and I think
Darnold.
Donald, I think they're the better pure passers
Yep.
in football. But I think Mayfield is the best overall quarterback in general.
Absolutely.
Probably the best playmaker. And I know people will say, well, what about Jackson because he does so much as far as playmaking. I think that on what you call it, Mayfield is a better playmaker because
Mayfield just has
he has
a feel for the big moment. You
yeah,
know what I'm
and
saying?
not only that, he's making his players around him better
Yep.
compared to Jackson just putting up numbers because he has to be better. Hey,
Hmm.
does that make sense? I mean,
It absolutely makes sense.
he has better playmaking ability. I think he's a better athlete, but as far as just being the best playmaker, I,
Baker Mayfield just he elevates his teammates to his level when it matters. And when
right.
you do that, you will always be the best player in college football because Tim Tebow was never the best quarterback in college football.
But he made
He's the best
everybody play.
player.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes. That's a perfect analogy right there because he did exactly what Mayfield is doing now. Like I said, I don't think he's going to win the Heisman because of it, but I think he
No,
can easily be, if he keeps on what he's doing, he can easily be the number one pick in the draft next year. Easily.
absolutely.
No question. And like I said, Jackson could win the Heisman. He'd probably be a first round pick or whatever. But as far as playing the quarterback position, you got Mayfield, you got Darnold, you have Rosen, and you have Jackson a little bit further down because there are some other quarterbacks in college that are actually pretty good. And,
Hmm.
we just talking about the dynamic aspect of Jackson. So there you go with that.
Yep.
So I'm looking at the games that are coming up. Oklahoma plays Baylor, which I'm not even
Easy
worried.
dub.
Yeah, that's an easy win. Penn State plays Iowa, another
Easy
easy
dub.
dub.
Well,
Iowa always plays tough.
right. That's what I'm saying.
Iowa
So,
always plays tough. So that may be a game to watch on Saturday. Um,
and this Penn State team is going to have to get used to being who everybody looks at once again.
yeah,
Because
because they
remember,
haven't.
they've had the sanctions for those
Yeah,
past couple of
yeah,
years.
they haven't been elite for oh goodness for some years. So
Yeah,
this
about
is
10 years.
this could be a role where they could be on a roll to wherever they can get that name back.
Mhm.
Oklahoma State is playing TCU. Now this team here, they have a quarterback on their team is actually pretty good. And
TCU or Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State,
Okay.
is a pretty good quarterback. There, I don't know the name. I'm trying to look him up and see what they have. But Oklahoma State is a pretty decent team right now. They're number 6 in the country, and they have
Hmm.
a pretty decent quarterback. So that game versus Oklahoma is going to be a really big game down the stretch.
Right.
They're playing TCU, which is number 16. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Ohio State playing UNLV. Who cares? Um,
Exactly.
Auburn's playing Missouri. I wouldn't be surprised if Missouri sneaks out a win there because Missouri's not a bad team. Florida's playing Kentucky. That's
Eh.
another one.
I mean,
That
it's
that
a
that could be
conference game, so you know.
that could be close, but I see Florida winning that one. USC playing Cal. Okay. Clemson playing Boston College. Who cares about that? Seriously. And like I said,
Yeah.
Louisville playing Kent State. This is a situation where Lamar Jackson can put up those type of numbers again against
Yeah,
Kent
he gonna
State.
have to put up 6 touchdowns and then get himself back in, the lead for Heisman.
Right. Exactly. Purdue is playing Michigan, and Michigan's number 8. A lot of people saying Purdue is pretty tough. I don't know, and I don't care. I think Michigan's going to run away with that one.
Yeah,
Um,
Michigan's another team to watch out for this year, though.
yeah,
They're that team that sneaks into the playoff and beats everybody's ass.
yeah, they could be. Yeah, you got to watch them if they do get in.
Because
Um,
the year Ohio State did that, Urban Meyer's first year there, everybody was surprised, and I'm like, man, this team was legit, and they, even though they always face a cupcake schedule, which we talked about last week, they were legit when it came to facing real competition. So,
yeah,
um,
speaking of Ohio State, JT Barrett, my God, that guy. Yeah, that guy. And
yeah, he. he was forgotten for a little bit, and now he's supposed to be the man there, and
Well,
yeah,
it's safe to say that he could be forgotten again.
pretty
but well,
much.
anyway, but the most interesting game to me, the fact that Mississippi State beat LSU the way they did, and they're playing Georgia, which Georgia actually surprised me pretty much by beating Notre Dame and Notre Dame. That was that. No matter what, that is significant when you beat.
Anytime you beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame
Yeah,
is just
exactly. So
crazy.
yeah, so that's like that's probably gonna be the best game. That and maybe the Oklahoma State TCU game, maybe the let's see what other game? Oh no, that maybe the Missouri Auburn game might be interesting. But
Right.
other than that, everything else is status quo. So that's that for college. We 1, 2, and 3, like we said,
Hmm.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma, Auburn, not Auburn, Alabama and Clemson. You can exchange the numbers, and you pretty much can be satisfied with what you got.
Hmm.
Now we're going to jump off to the NFL.
This is
This,
going to be interesting
this
because I have a winner and a loser that kind of contradicts themselves. That we have a situation where a winner is also a loser this week.
Yeah, so let's go back to the following week when we talk about the winners and losers.
Yep.
And first of all, I'm not even gonna give out a winner or loser yet. But
Hmm.
what's up with these New York Giants, man?
Oh man, I mean, where to start? Brandon Marshall,
Odell Beckham. I mean,
Odell
the
Beckham,
offensive
yes.
line,
The offensive line
the
definitely doesn't help.
the
Eli
defense.
Manning actually isn't a loser in all this. He
No,
just
no,
happens to
no.
be a loser by association.
Yeah, I mean he comes away from this unscathed because he's like, look, I can't do nothing with this.
Right.
You
They don't
know,
have a running game.
no. And the defense is supposed to be so good. I mean, they look terrible the other day. They look terrible. So
Against a team that was very beatable, by the way.
they're very beatable, very beatable. So I'm gonna let you go first with the winners and losers. Outside of we got rid of New York because I'm just dumbfounded what's going on with them. What are your winners and losers? You go first.
So before we start going in order, I want to start with somebody who's a winner and a loser. Ezekiel Elliott is a winner and a loser. A
Oh
loser on
God.
the field, a loser on the field, a winner off the field, and then you can add the NFL being a loser in this situation because their appeal was denied, as it should have been, and he will continue to play. Now, if he continues to play like he did yesterday, and it might be a wasted season. Maybe he should have sat his ass out. Who knows? But all in all, it's good to hear that he's going to continue to play this season. He didn't have a good day yesterday. Bad days happen. He'll move forward. He'll be better. But the Cowboys in general also have to be a loser.
Absolutely. I mean, they got done up by Denver. It wasn't even funny.
Yep.
I didn't expect much out of that game. First of all, you're playing against a really good defense in Denver. If they stop the running game, they stopped Dallas
Hmm.
because the passing game should be good, but it is no good because the loser so far this season in general, probably for the
Des
past
Bryant.
exactly, probably for the past season and a half is definitely Des Bryant.
Where's this guy? The guy that people had the nerve to compare to Calvin Johnson.
He needs to take number 88 off. I'm sorry. I mean, he needs to go wear number 87. He needs to wear number 89. He needs to wear, number 74. He needs to wear something because I'm sorry, for the past year or so, this guy has been missing in action. Yes, he had a pretty good. He had a couple of good catches this game, but I'm just talking about overall. He had the potential. He really had the potential to take over this game, even with Dallas struggles. But the problem was he never was open. That ended up kept getting hit because he wasn't open. And yeah, you want to talk about Akeem Talib, you want to talk about Chris Harris. They're good corners,
Yep.
but they can be had.
And this is the thing that people need to realize. Back when there were shutdown corners in the league, just like there are now, receivers had to show up against them in order to be called top tier receivers. Plain
Right,
and simple.
right,
You have to show up against the best competition,
right. I totally agree.
and he didn't.
Like I said, it's just that's my first loser and my second loser for the day. And I know some people don't even notice this and don't even realize this. My second loser is absolutely the New Orleans Saints. Those guys look
Oh Lord,
they look terrible,
they're competing with the Jets for worst team in the league, and who's gonna get the first pick?
yeah, it's getting that bad. And you know, people gonna look at me. Oh, you're saying that because you're a Falcons fan? No, they're my rivals, and I respect New Orleans Saints because of the way they've played the past few years. But this year, you got to call it for what it is.
They're
They're terrible.
garbage.
They're garbage. They really are. And I saw somewhere on Twitter where somebody was saying that, oh, maybe they need to do the unthinkable and trade Drew Brees. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that's unthinkable. I think that's very viable. They can go run around and go talk to Arizona. They can go talk to Indianapolis, which I don't think that'd be ideal. They can go talk to any other team who needs to talk to San Francisco. Talk to anybody who
Oh,
needs a quarterback and
San Francisco was an interesting one.
trade them off. What do
San
you?
Francisco, you might have a point with that San Francisco one because he's from LA, I think.
Yeah, I think he's from the area. I mean, why not trade him off? Because of the fact you can't re-sign him. He is his contract and the money that New Orleans have that is strapped is to the point where they can't really re-sign him. It just costs too much to re-sign him. Why not get a first round pick for him? Get 2 second round picks for him, and call it a day. Tank. Why not? I mean, because you're not going nowhere. The way you got Adrian Peterson back there, you got Mark Ingram back there, you got two people of the same type of running back trying to try to get in for time. That doesn't work.
Nope.
It's just, I mean, your receivers, you lost Brandon Crooks. You don't have anybody in receiver, honestly. Your secondary, you got Lattimore back there. He's a rookie. He needs help. I mean, you don't have anybody. It's just, to me, the way they played against New England, yeah, I expect New England to beat them, but you're in the Superdome. I expect them to play better, and they lost 36-20, but that score is not an indication how that game was.
This is the worst the Saints have looked in the Drew Brees era.
I can totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
And I don't think it's close.
So
And as a player who did so much for that franchise and brought him a Super Bowl, he doesn't deserve to play with garbage like this.
I agree.
And he doesn't deserve, and I won't call all of them garbage, but as a team, they're garbage. And he doesn't deserve to close out his career like this.
I
So
totally agree.
they need to trade him somewhere where he can play with some established talent. And I mean, fuck. I mean, if we really want to talk about another loser that's under the radar because nobody even gives a fuck about him anymore, Jarius Byrd.
Who?
Exactly.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Like, who? Like, didn't he get cut by? He got cut by the Saints.
He got cut by the Saints, and he was supposed to be the savior of the defense. Oh my God, he's the best safety in the league because he played one good season on the Bills. And you got cut by a bad defensive team.
They had him and Brandon Browner. And
he got cut by a bad defensive team. If you get cut by a bad defensive team, you, sir, are garbage.
Well, I kind of knew that he wasn't all that once. I mean, he was with the Bills. He had a pretty good defensive year. And it's like, okay, they signed him. I get it. They're trying to get better. New Orleans defense always been suspect for the most part. And they basically they didn't get what they wanted out of the situation. And now it's like you're looking at a team.
They're trying to trade their best player, Kenny Vaccaro, right now. I think he's the best player besides Drew Brees. And he's one of the best young talents on that defense. Well, the best young talent on that defense, one of the best young talents on the team. They're trying to trade him. Shit, please send him here. Please send him here. I don't care what we pay him.
I think at the end of the day, Kenny Vaccaro, I can see them trying to trade him, but I think they just need to go ahead and cut bait with Drew Brees and get a high draft pick and just start rebuilding because I don't see them going nowhere but down. I'm gonna jump on a couple of winners that we have. First, I gotta give it. Stay in the division. I can say Tampa Bay is a winner because they did beat Chicago and they beat them in pretty good fashion. They had all the talent, but the reason why I can possibly take that away from them, they played against Mike Glennon. They know Mike Glennon. They know him very
Wait,
well.
Trubisky didn't play that game?
No, Mike Glennon played. And
Why?
exactly, they know Mike Glennon very well. So it's
There
like
goes John Fox again. No, you know what? Make John Fox a loser.
Trubisky hasn't played at all this season.
Oh my god.
I don't know if you noticed that, but he didn't play at all this season.
I was at work, so I didn't catch that game, and they didn't play it in our region anyway. But
Yeah, but yeah, I can
uh,
give them a win because they played very well despite knowing that quarterback like the back of their hand. I mean, he's been in their system for what 3 4 years, so he
hmm
knows that they know the quarterback. So that was pretty easy. Another winner that I can definitely give Denver the nod because of the way they played. And
Trevor Simeon.
that not Denver in general, but Trevor Simeon. He's a winner for sure. He played lights out. He played very good. And people can say Dallas defense is not all that, but you got to talk about Trevor Simeon. He's not that good of a quarterback, but he played very well.
Oh, I got a loser. I got a loser.
Okay.
The Seattle Seahawks again. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
well, but they beat
You're
San
playing
Francisco,
against.
though.
They're playing against a team that don't got a quarterback, VF, and they're playing at home, and they scored 12 points.
You know,
No.
you're right
Come
about that.
on.
You're right about that. And you know
Like,
what? I don't think that team is good as people tried to make them out to be either.
they're not, and the offensive line is the root of it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. So, those are two winners in my book. Do you have another winner?
The Chiefs.
Chiefs once again, they're number one in the power rankings, which is yeah, I can see why, but they beat Philadelphia 27-20, and
The Chiefs and the Ravens. I think the
let
Ravens
me tell
are
you,
a team that people need to pay attention
I'm gonna
to.
I disrespected them last week because I thought Cleveland, the way they played Pittsburgh the week before, I
hmm
thought they were going to give Baltimore a run, but Baltimore's defense is very, very good,
Yep.
and
Underrated pass rush. Good linebackers that could cover. Decent secondary. They got. I'm sorry. People can say what they want about him. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. He don't got no targets to throw to. People can rash Joe Flacco all they want to.
no, Flacco's nice, but like I said, Cleveland. They're still a work in progress. I like the direction that they're actually going. Deshaun Kaiser is going to be a really good quarterback down the road. And I thought that he was coming of age from last week, the way he played against Pittsburgh, but
hmm
Baltimore just smacked them in the mouth, and we'll see what happens the following week. So, Baltimore, they're one team that you could possibly give honorable mention to, but the team I definitely give honorable mention to for being a winner is definitely the Atlanta Falcons. And that's my team,
Yep.
and I should give them all the praise because they did win. But
hmm
to me, I still feel that they have a lot to prove based on what has happened last year. But the way they played Green Bay and handled business the other day was pretty impressive. I
Man,
really
they're on
like it.
track to get right back,
Yeah,
man.
I'm looking at the NFC, and I said it when we first made our early predictions.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody in the NFC that can give them a run.
No resistance.
Tampa Bay, maybe. I can see Tampa Bay doing it, but once
Yeah.
again, Tampa Bay is they have talent. They're just not embedded with the team. Like Atlanta has players that have been together for a while.
hmm
Tampa Bay has players that are just getting together to play. So it's going to be interesting between the two, but the rest of the NFC, I just don't see anybody in the NFC that can actually give this team a run.
Oh God, I can't believe we haven't talked about this.
Well, what's that?
I got a multitude of losers individually and teams in general. Okay, first off, I'm sorry. I have to give the Texans a loser, even though they won. Okay, Sean Watson played a really good game, but DeAndre Hopkins basically carried that team as a receiver to that win against a team that is in flux right now. The loser is obviously the Cincinnati Bengals. They're a fucking dumpster fire.
Man,
Marvin Lewis should have
between
been
let me tell you,
fired
let me tell you,
10 years
between
ago.
them, the Saints, and the Colts, they're like the bottom of the barrel right now.
Everybody talked about Andy Dalton. Is he elite? No, the fuck he's not. He's elite at being overrated. That's what he's elite at. Like, it's okay. And the thing is, the offensive coordinator isn't doing anything to help him. It's like Everybody knows where
I gotta,
AJ Green's gonna line up.
I got,
Everybody knows
I
where he's
got, I
gonna
got,
line
I got, I got a question.
up. Hmm.
Why Joe Mixon only had 9 carries for 36 yards? Why he only got 9 carries in this game?
They, I don't know, man. It's like they want to pass the ball, but when they pass the ball, they're so damn predictable to the point where Gio Billy gets any carries. Joe Mixon was carrying the ball pretty well in that game, but he barely got any carries.
That's what I'm saying. Why Joe Mixon's not getting the? I mean, and look, Andy Dalton was 20 for 35 for 224. I'm not knocking Andy Dalton for those numbers because of the fact that they're not bad numbers. But for him, if you're trying to put this guy in a position to win football games, it's not going to be with his arm. That's
Marvin
that
Lewis needs to go.
that's where I know you have an issue with Andy Dalton because he's not an elite quarterback. He's good enough to manage a team. That's
Right.
why I say Joe Mixon, hell, even Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard, that they need to get a quarterback. I mean, they need to get a running back and stick with that running back because if Joe Mixon is averaging 4 yards a carry, why this man doesn't have 10 or 15 more carries in this game?
Yeah, it's like I don't have an issue with Andy Dalton as a person because I'm sure he doesn't buy into the hype, and I don't have an issue with him as a player. I just have an issue with the hype that surrounds him every
Exactly,
year when he
exactly.
doesn't prove that he lives up to
And,
that. And I hate the fact that Marvin Lewis still has a job head coaching this team.
he,
It. Oh
See,
my
but see, that's what I'm
god.
saying. Andy Dalton needs a running game. I mean, bottom line, that's just what he needs. He needs a running game because these numbers aren't bad against a defense that was pretty good.
And their defense played well too. I mean, they only gave up what 14 points,
right? I mean, let me see what was the score. Uh,
14-9, 12-9,
yeah,
something.
something like that. Yeah, but I'm saying Andy Dalton, like I said, he didn't throw any picks. He didn't throw any touchdowns either. But if you establish the run, Andy Dalton can be much more effective than this.
Right.
Deshaun Watson, he's 15 to 24, 125. He ran for 67 yards and had a rushing touchdown.
An
Great.
embarrassing rushing touchdown, may I add, for the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
I mean, good numbers for Deshaun Watson as a rookie. No issue there. And
Nope.
I think he will continue to flourish. Now, the back end of that, Tom Savage needs to get traded. I don't see him being around.
No. No. I agree.
Because I don't see him.
Deshaun Watson has a stranglehold on that job, and I don't think there's any way he can lose it,
Yeah,
regardless of how he plays for us this season.
right.
He's already shown that he should be the starter.
Right,
There's no doubt about
I
it.
can agree with that. Exactly. So, with that being said, I don't have anything else to say. Like I said, Marvin Lewis, yeah, he has to go. We can skim through a couple other games. Buffalo lost to Carolina 9-3. I don't see them as a threat. They also lost Greg Olsen for the year with a broken foot. Carolina, I don't see them going too far, even though they are 2-0.
The Titans are another winner.
Yeah, they look good. They look good against Jacksonville. They
They
are 37.
they smoked them.
Yeah, they look really good against the defense of Jacksonville. Makes me want to question Jacksonville overall once again after they played pretty good the
Especially
first week.
goddamn Bortles, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
exactly. Miami beat LA. They beat the Chargers or whatever.
Right, who
Um,
cares?
Washington beat the Rams. That was actually a pretty enjoyable game to watch. Um, let's see what else. Oakland beat the Jets. Who cares? I mean, we saw that coming before it even started.
I could, you know what? I can say that the Raiders are a winner because I'm just glad that they are finally playing like the Raiders of old. They don't play down to their competition.
Yeah,
They are taking care of business the way they're supposed to take care of business, regardless of whether the team is as talented as them going into the game or not. It's like a lot of these years we've seen the Raiders have a lot of talent, but they play down to their competition, and sometimes they lose games to teams they have no business losing to. I think with people like Marshawn galvanizing that team and bringing that culture back, and that swag is gonna be interesting.
no, I kind of
I
feel.
can't say that my team will beat them today
I
with
mean,
a straight face.
I kind of saw Oakland being who they are. So I mean, automatically they will be winners. To me, I didn't think there was anything to even talk about. Same thing with like Pittsburgh. I mean, they won 26-9 against Minnesota. I mean, that was part for the course. Same thing with New England, part for the course. They were going to beat New Orleans. So to me, yeah, you can tag them as winners today, but I kind of saw that one coming. So
No, no, yeah, I agree. But I'm saying it's one of them things where when I see them play well against a team they're supposed to play well against, it's not always a given with the Raiders because a lot of the time they play bad against the teams they should be playing good against because they play down their competition and underestimate their competition. So from that perspective, I would I would give the Raiders a dub because they're actually living up to expectations. They're
okay,
not that team that starts out slow and everybody's like, "What happened to this team? They're supposed to be a Super Bowl contender." You know what I'm saying? They're
right.
every bit as good as expected.
Okay, I definitely get with that. So now we're going to jump to week three. We're going to look at a couple of games that we give our thoughts on the games that's coming up. Speaking of
Hmm.
Oakland, Oakland plays the Redskins, and I know DJ is going to have to be definitely worried about that game because Oakland, like you said, they're looking everywhere, every way they're supposed to look, and they're playing against Washington, which I'm kind of worried about Washington in this game. I think Oakland's going to run through them. What are your thoughts?
Hmm. I don't think there's any question. I don't think that game is in doubt at all. I think they are going to run through them. I'm also looking at the games here. We have a horrible Thursday night game with the Rams and the 49ers. I don't know anybody who would watch that, even as fans of the two fan bases.
I'm still taking the
Um,
Rams. I'm taking the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams in a heartbeat, but who wants to watch that game?
Well, I don't. I mean, I don't.
Right. We got the Dolphins and the Jets. Who gives a shit? The Ravens and the Jaguars. They're playing in London, I believe. It
Yeah, they're
says
playing.
9:30 start time.
They're playing in London, and
So I usually watch the London game. So you know,
I honestly I care about that game, but I really don't.
yeah.
You
Mm,
know, it's like the games that I do care about that I'm looking forward to definitely. Um, and a lot of people may disagree with me on this one. Is the Houston and New England game? That's going to be interesting, just for the simple fact that you got two teams that are capable of putting up numbers in their own different ways. So
I think New England's gonna lose this game,
really,
and
I think
people are gonna call me pessimistic. I think they're gonna lose this game.
I think Houston's going to win by not Houston. I think New England's going to win by very close, but I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Another game,
I think and the only reason I say this is because we don't have anybody that can defend. We don't have anybody that actually okay. Get back to me on Thursday when I find out whether Hightower is playing or not. Then I can tell you who's gonna win and who's not gonna win because we had guys sitting out and I don't want to judge based on that. So
right?
if we have guys that end up playing, then I'll say we're gonna win. But based on the injury list right now, um, I would say that I wouldn't favor them right now.
Right. And if you want to get at Bill's about his thoughts about it, you can catch him on Twitter. The
Yeah,
link of his Twitter handle will be down in the description. Um, Pittsburgh and Chicago. I think Chicago
really
may.
good game.
That's gonna be a good game. They're playing in Chicago. I think Chicago's gonna give them a run because based on the way I seen them play Atlanta, they play pretty good at home and they got two damn good running backs. Pittsburgh may have a
Hmm.
problem with those running backs.
Yep,
Cleveland and Indianapolis, that game is just about as bad as this Rams and 49ers game, but I do expect
it's not worse.
yeah, but I do expect Deshaun Kaiser to shine in this game. If not, I will be highly suspect about his ability to play in the NFL.
I see a shootout coming with this Falcons and Lions game.
Absolutely.
That game gonna end in the 40s.
Yeah, I can see that happening very, very easily. Um, our pass rush in Atlanta is going to take a hit. Vic Beasley is out for a month with a slight hamstring tear. So, Tack McKinley is going to be in this place. We're going to definitely see how that goes, but I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to have a Vic Beasley impact. So, therefore, this game could easily be a 45, 41, 38, 35 type game. Um, New Orleans and Carolina.
Ugh.
Uh,
Who cares? Like,
Carolina,
uh,
Carolina has no secondary. New Orleans has no secondary. That could be a
New
shootout.
Orleans has no
That
anything.
that could be a shootout just because the defenses are bad, not because of the offenses are good. It could be
Right,
like, it could be like the
exactly.
it could be the total opposite of Atlanta and Detroit. Atlanta and Detroit going to be a shootout because the offenses are good. Carolina and New Orleans is going to be a shootout because the defenses are bad.
Yeah, that's just going to be a poorly played game where dudes end up in the end zone.
Yeah, exactly,
Like
exactly.
that's what that's going to be.
I give the Eagles the win against the Giants.
Absolutely.
I give
Oh,
them
God, Eli Manning might get seriously injured in that
Yeah,
game.
I give them the W on that one. Cincinnati and Green Bay, I give Aaron Rodgers the W on that one.
Oh, that
Um,
I mean, he needs to put up MVP numbers in that game. This is his game to put up MVP numbers.
yeah, absolutely. I can see him throwing for about 3 touchdowns, throwing for about 360, and no interceptions, probably running for another 35 yards.
Right.
I can see that Aaron Rodgers, Vince's Aaron Rodgers right there. Seattle and Tennessee. I would not be surprised if Tennessee beats Seattle in this game.
I wouldn't either. I mean, Seattle's like a couple losses away from this season being really bad.
Yeah, I can agree.
Because once teams start the year bad, I mean, especially that team, it's not going to end too well. That
Well,
offensive line isn't going to get any better quick enough for them to stay in contention. Their schedule's going to get harder.
Tennessee has a pass rush too,
Yep.
so that's going to be interesting. I see Tennessee probably beating Seattle maybe by about 10 to 14 points. I'm looking at any other game that we missed. I think Denver and Buffalo. I'm not even looking at that game.
No.
That's nothing to look at. Kansas City playing the Chargers. Kansas City, I see them beating that game. And another snoozer, in my opinion, for Monday night. You got Dallas playing Arizona. Now, when you look at this game here, in the
I
beginning,
like watching Dallas, so I'll probably watch
oh,
just because I like watching Dallas. But as far as an unbiased fan, no.
yeah, but you got to look at this. At the beginning of the season, this Monday night game looked like a damn good Monday night game
Oh yeah.
at the beginning of the season. But now we know everything that's going on now is like, yeah, if Arizona gets a pass rush, this could be a very low scoring game. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Or there's always that or the Cowboys could turn it on and all of a sudden people start talking about them being Super Bowl contenders again and it could be like 42-3.
Wow, so they can tease everybody so they can fall flat on their face at the end of the season.
Right. it could be like they could win like 42-3 and everybody's like, "See, we told you the Cowboys are for real." And then
Yeah,
yeah.
that's typical Cowboys right there. I would not be surprised. So, yeah. So, I think that's it for all the topics, man. Anything else you want to touch on before we close it out?
I mean, that's it. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think so too. Once again, Space Jones. Excellent topic that we covered on that. If you haven't caught on to that, just rewind this podcast. Definitely like talking about how YouTubers influence games and sometimes, well, more times than not, it's for the worst, especially for the sim gamer.
Absolutely.
We just left out Nicole too many times. Anything else? The winners and losers, you know how that goes. Great NBA 2K18 patch, NBA Live giveaway. We understand how that goes. College football and NFL talk is definitely par for the course. It keeps us interested. It keeps us going and watching actual television because outside of that, I don't watch TV at all. And I don't have anything else to say. Once again, if you like the content, like, dislike, comment, let us know how you feel.
And share it.
Share it. Definitely share it. Shout out to the people who have been sharing this. And
Right.
I'm still in the process of trying to get this thing on SoundCloud, possibly on iTunes as well. Had to do a little research on how that's done. iTunes looked like it's going to be an easier solution because I wanted to get it down to where people can like just download the podcasts and take it with them on the go. So definitely looking forward to that. Trying to get a few more guests onto the show in the coming weeks. I got one person who said they want to come in next week. Bill shot that person to me. Definitely going to try to get him in because I know he has some great insight. And if anybody else want to get on, long as you guys have some rational talk and non-biased and no fanboy stuff, you're always welcome.
All I
So,
can say is there might be a bit of an NWO reunion next week. That's all I gotta say.
hey, what's NWO?
I
I've heard there was a rumor that somebody out there was actually brought that up recently.
Well, some people just can't let sleeping dogs lie.
I mean, that was a complete troll situation. We didn't mean to take it serious, but Anyway, I hope you guys I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Like I said, like this, like share, and let us know your feedback. And we are out of here. Peace.
Peace.